Did you know that 1 in 4 Americans age 65 and over falls each year? That's according to the CDC. Falls among older adults are a leading cause of injury and hospitalization, and yet are preventable. Janet Scoville, Director of Care Management at Priority Health, is here during Falls Prevention Week to share some tips for preventing injury. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
You know, fear of falling is real for everyone, but especially for older adults. Talk about why these conversations are so important. It starts with a conversation, right, Janet?
It really does. If we don't talk about it, we don't know what we can do to prevent a fall. And that's the key. Falls are preventable. So having that conversation about what you need to pay attention to in your home, any risks that you have, and how to mitigate those risks is the very first step to understanding what your personal risk might be.
So what are the most common causes of falls among older adults?
Most common causes unusually is small pets can really get in your way and cause a risk. Loose rugs, throw rugs, cords in the walkway, poor lighting, and a lack of proper handrails in the bathroom or handrails on stairways. So making sure that you've got night lights in place in the bathrooms and anything that's poorly lit. Those are a few environmental things that you can do around the house.
And talk about how serious are the consequences of falls for older adults?
Oh, they're very serious. A fall often results in a serious injury, such as a fracture or a head injury. And those types of injuries can cause a cascade effect, especially in people over the age of 65. And what can happen is either the injury itself can linger and cause further debility, or there can be some psychological effect where there's anxiety and fear about falling, and that can lead people to be less active and actually accelerate that risk of falls.
Yeah, you mentioned some a little bit, but let's talk about these because these are simple and can be inexpensive ways to make the home safer, right?
Yes.
What can they do?
So clear the walkways, put away the clutter, stacks of papers, newspapers, get that out of there. Make sure there's clear paths in and around your home to the bathroom and other places. A couple other things too to think about are medications. There are certain medications that can increase the risk of falling, so it's really important to review your medications with your doctor and have a conversation with your doctor about your personal risk of falls.
Talk about the importance friends, family, and caregivers can have in helping their loved ones.
Yeah, asking people how they're doing, checking in on your loved ones, looking around and asking do they need help with installation of grab bars and handrails, because that can be overwhelming for people. Do they need a little help getting things cleaned up and moved around? And just reassuring people that you want to help them remain independent. I think that's another common fear, is if people talk about falls or risk of fall, they're worried about their independence.
But if someone is concerned about their risk of falling, what should they do?
If someone is afraid of their risk of falling, the first step is talk to your physician and talk through any need for physical therapy or an assist device when walking around, that sort of thing. It's important too to stay active, so make sure that you're getting some exercise. Even if it's just taking a walk every day or moving around in your house, getting up every hour, staying active is really important for strength and balance.
Because sometimes people just want to stay at home, right?
Yes.
Sit down. Okay. Talk about the resources out there, Janet, options out there for people to learn more.
Yeah, there are a lot of resources. Michigan has 211, Falls Prevention for Michigan, so you can go online and Google 211. You can call the number on the back of your ID card if you have Priority Health, and you can talk to customer service about your benefits. So things like getting your eyes checked, getting your ears checked, taking advantage of your exercise or fitness benefit that you might have. And then there's community resources through Senior Neighbors and Area Agency on Aging, lots of places that offer exercise programs and falls prevention classes.
Okay, Janet, anything else that you want to share?
Just remember, don't keep it a secret. If you're afraid of falling, if you've nearly fallen, or if you've had a fall, make sure you tell someone. Have that conversation with your family and your doctor.
Janet Scoville with Priority Health. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much.